All right, now shifting into the deadly serious.
Uh-huh.
As you know, Tesla spent quite a bit of money over the years on CapEx and R&D,
Hmm.
right, to build the business. And this is a cumulative chart showing the cumulative spend since Q3 2012, and we're up over 75 billion since that time.
Right.
CapEx and R&D. Now, a lot of people may not appreciate the difference between CapEx and R&D. CapEx, you can think of it as more tangible things, and R&D is more intangible. Although the R&D that they could be working on is certainly for tangible products, a lot of R&D is typically salaries of people that they're doing the work.
Hmm.
Okay. They also have very different treatment in terms of going through the income statement and balance sheet. So R&D, you expense as you go. People's salaries, you expense. CapEx, you actually put on your balance sheet as an asset,
Hmm.
and then you depreciate it over time,
Right.
right? So anyway, so this is here's this CapEx, about 50 billion of that, and then R&D about 25 billion.
Hmm.
Okay, so about 2/3 CapEx, 1/3 R&D. Now, functionally, it's all going to the same thing in terms of, creating new products and trying to grow the company,
Hmm.
right? And so here are the two kind of side by side on a quarterly basis. And so traditionally, CapEx has been higher than R&D. CapEx has been more volatile than R&D. There's been some bigger peaks and valleys. R&D tends to be more stable because, again, it's mostly salaries of people. So R&D last quarter was the highest level it's ever been at Tesla. And CapEx was a temporary drop from
Oh,
previous
yeah.
quarters,
Hmm.
right? If you know you're going to shut down production for a period of weeks, you know it's going to be a tough cash flow quarter. Why not also slow down some of your CapEx spending in the first quarter as well?
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I thought that was kind of a nice visual just in terms of Tesla spending in these two areas over time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's again, while they spend a lot compared to other tech companies, they don't spend nearly as much on a percentage basis or on an actual,
That's right.
basis. I think, if I remember right, Microsoft, I think, said they're spending 75 billion this year. Uh,
Yeah, it's in big numbers for those big companies.
right.
And as often as the case, Randy, you were one step ahead of me.
Uh-oh, not again. Mm.
That's okay. Um, just before we leave this chart, we're going to talk about what Tesla expects to spend this year on CapEx.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The previous guidance in January on that earnings call was for about 11 billion in 2025.
Right.
So they spent about 1.5 billion of that. Okay. And so, the remaining amount for the next 3 quarters is going to have to be back up here somewhere.
Hmm.
Now, in the most recent 10Q, that guidance has come down to an amount exceeding $10 billion.
Mm. Okay.
So they backed it off a little bit. Okay, but we should expect to see quarterly CapEx of about 2.5 billion going forward, at least for the next 3 quarters, if not
Got it.
more.
Got it.
Okay, and that would put you back up here.
Sure.
So here's that language from the 10K in January, and then it says 10K, it should be 10Q in April.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the current one is CapEx to support our projects globally to exceed $10 billion. And then back up here, they're talking about simultaneously developing, ramping new products, building or ramping manufacturing facilities on 3 continents, piloting the development and manufacture of new battery cell technologies, expanding our supercharger network, and investing in autonomy and other artificial intelligence-enabled training and products. So if Tesla's not working on, a few things, right? Just a small number of things they're
Just
spending
a
their money on.
small number of things. Three that come quickly to mind are the completion of Corpus Christi, the building of the new facility for Megapacks in Texas, the building that they're doing next to Giga Texas to add on to the huge data center that they're putting in down there.
Cortex 2.
Cortex
Yep.
2. And then I mean, that's just kind of a start.
Don't forget the semi-factory.
I'm sorry, the semi-factory. I knew there was one more that was not coming up quickly. So that's just in the United States. That doesn't count what they might be doing in Berlin. I know there's conversation that they might be beginning battery production there. So who knows? It's crazy. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, and by the way, with this situation we had yesterday in Spain and Portugal with the blackouts,
Right.
I will make a bold prediction that the sales of megapacks in Spain and Portugal are going to skyrocket in the next few months.
Maybe there would even be enough, given what happened in Australia, because this is basically a copy now of what happened in Australia, and Australia ended up buying a bunch of megapacks.
Yeah.
Maybe this would generate a reason to almost immediately start building a building, excuse me, in Europe someplace to do megapacks.
Yeah, if I was the Spanish government, I'd be on the phone to Elon today.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Elon also made some comments about R&D in January 2024. He says there are gigantic differences in the effectiveness of R&D spending between companies. Right. And he was, I guess, in response to questions about the spending that Apple has versus, Microsoft and so on. They spend a lot more.
Right.
Right. And he says, but, we get more innovation per dollar spent than those companies do. And he kind of he says, I think of Tesla in its entirety as research and development. So, everybody's salary could be classified in that bucket if you wanted to. But yeah, it's not just about spending a large amount of money. It's how you spend it. And Elon certainly, as a capital allocator, has proven himself to be very, very clever.
Yes, and Apple, quite frankly, even in using that comparison, Apple is right at the top in terms of return on invested credit. And Tesla is way above the average in terms of return on invested credit, but they are not quite up to Apple yet, but that's mostly because they're so much younger as a company.
Yeah, just one correction. Return on invested capital would be the correct term.
Capital.
Yeah. Just to make sure there's no misunderstanding.
Yes.